Hello, welcome back to LK Tuition. My name's Lucas and today we're going to be looking at direct proportion. Hope you're doing well and let's get started. Alright then, so what we say is that y is directly proportional to x if it can be written as y equals ax, where a is some number. So what we're saying is y is directly proportional to x if you can write y as some number times x. Now that y and x can be anything. They might say d is directly proportional to e if it can be written as d equals something times e. So it's directly proportional if one thing can be written as something times another. And what you can do is you can use information provided by the question to find out what that number is. I will do loads of examples of this today, so hopefully you can get the hang of it. Alright then, so first example, it says that y is directly proportional to x. When y equals 12, x is 3. So it says find a formula for y in terms of x. Well, always start, when it says y is directly proportional to x, the first thing I'm going to do is just write y equals ax. That is what directly proportional means. Y is something times x. Let's call it a. But then it gives you a bit of information. It says when y is 12, x is 3. So what we can do is we can shove these numbers in to find out what a is. So y is 12 and x is 3. So instead of a times x, it will be a times 3, or 3a. But 12 is 3 times what? Well, 12 is 3 times 4, so a must be 4. So that gives us our a. So when it says find a formula for y in terms of x, we can now say that y is 4x, because a is 4. Then for part B, we want to find the value of y when x is 5. Well, this is just a substitution question. So y is going to be 4 times x, but x is 5. And 4 times 5 is 20. And then finally, we want to find the value of x when y is 36. So again, we just plug in for y this time. So 36 is 4x. Well, 4 times what makes 36? 4 times 9. So x is 9. Okay, great. All right, next one. Again, I don't think I said this, but feel free to pause the video and have a go yourself. But we've got that P is directly proportional to Q. So without reading any more of the question, I'm going to write P equals something times Q. Then it says when P is 2, Q is 8. So again, we can just plug these numbers in. So P is 2 and Q is 8. So 8a. Now 8 times what gives 2? Well, you think, well, you divide by 4, wouldn't you, to get from 8 to 2? So a has got to be a quarter. So a is a quarter. So what we can write is P equals a quarter of Q. Or you could write it as Q over 4. That's another option. Okay. Then it says, well, let's just box this off because that's our answer. Then it says find the value of P when Q is 30. So P is going to be 30 divided by 4. Well, half of 30 is 15 and half of 15 is 7.5. And then finally for this question, find the value of Q when P is 100. So 100 is something over 4. Well, what divided by 4 is 100? Well, it's got to be 400. So Q is 400. Yeah, because 400 divided by 4 is going to give you 100. Okay. All right, next one. Okay, so we've got J is directly proportional to the square of K. Okay, so this is slightly different, but it's the same idea. So it says J is directly proportional, so A times the square of K. So instead of K, it's going to be K squared. Okay, so that's all that means. And then when it says when J is 27, K is 3. So 27 is something times 3 squared. So that says 27 is, well, 3 squared is 9, so 9a. Well, 9 times what is 27? Well, 9 times 3 is 27. So a must be 3. So our formula then is J equals 3k squared. And then the question says, find the value of k when j is 75. So we've got that 75 equals 3k squared. And we can solve this. First, we can divide both sides by 3. So let's just write that. So divide both sides by 3. So 75 divided by 3 is 25. And we're just left with k squared. So what squared is 25? Well, it's 5. And it could be minus 5 as well. So let's put plus or minus 5. Yeah, so just a reminder, minus 5 times minus 5 would give you plus 25 as well. So it could be minus 5. G is directly proportional to the square root of h. When g is 18, h is 16. Find the value of h when g is 2. Okay, so again, we've got direct proportion. So g is going to be, I'll make that look a bit more like a g, a times the square root of h. And then we've got when g is 18, h is 16. So 18 equals a times the square root of 16. Now the square root of 16 is 4, so 18 is 4a. And then we want to divide by 4 from both sides. So 18 halved is 9, and half of 9 is 4.5. So a is going to be 4.5. So our formula then is going to be g equals 4.5 square root of h. Now then, this is a little bit messy because we've got a decimal. So what we're going to do is I'll just times both sides by 2 so that we get some nicer numbers. So on the left, instead of g, we'll get 2g. And on the right, instead of 4.5 root h, we'll get 9 root h. And that's just going to make life a little bit easier for us in a second. So find the value of h when g is 2. Well, g is 2, so we've got 2 times 2 is 9 root h. 2 times 2 is 4, so 4 equals 9 root h. Now let's divide through by 9. So we're going to have 4 over 9 equals the square root of h. And then to find h, we just want to square it up. So h is going to be, well, the square of 4 is 16, and the square of 9 is 81. So that is our h. So it was a little bit messy, that one, a little bit of fractional stuff in there. Maybe it's more of a higher tier question, but hopefully you could follow what I was doing. Okay, and then the final question, we've got that the cost of a circular table is directly proportional to the square of its radius. A table with a radius of 40 centimetres cost £90. Arthur wants to buy, I think that's supposed to be buy with a UY, so buy a table with a radius of 60 centimetres. How much would he have to pay? Okay then, so a cost of a circular table then is directly proportional to the square of the radius. So let's write C for the cost is directly proportional, so A times the square of the radius, so R squared. Then it says a table with a radius of 40 cost £90. So the cost is 90, and that is A times 40 squared. Okay, so 40 squared then is 1,600, so 1,600A. So then we want to divide by 1,600. So A is going to be 1,600, it's going to be, let's just do it the right way around, 90 divided by 1,600, or you can divide top and bottom by 10 to give us 9 over 160. Okay, so it's not a nice number, but that's what we've ended up with. So we can rewrite our formula as C equals 9 over 160 times R squared. Then we want to know that he buys a table with a radius of 60, and how much would he have to pay? Okay, so let's use a different colour. So now the radius is 60, so the cost is going to be 9 over 160 times 60 squared. Now 60 squared is going to be 3,600. So C is going to be 9 over 160 of 3,600. Now, can we tidy that up in any way? This might be more of a calculator question, but we can definitely tidy up a little bit. We can definitely divide the top and bottom by 10. So this is 9 over 16 times 360. I can simplify that a little bit further by dividing the 360 by 4 and dividing the 16 by 4. So let's just move over here. So this is going to be 9 over 4 of 90. Okay, and now I can divide again. I can divide by 2, top and bottom. So this is 9 over 2 times 45. And that's about as good as I can do, I think. So 9 times 45 is going to be 405 over 2, which is going to be 202.5 or £202.50. Okay, so that was a bit of a task, but you know, as long as you were happy with the direct proportional stuff, the simplifying of the fraction was a bit hard at the end, but this might be a calculator question, which is a lot more doable. Alright, so I hope you found that useful. This has been LK Tuition. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon for some more maths videos.